Coming up on Mountain News this morning, there was a mass shooting in Florence over the weekend that killed 4 people. And a lawsuit challenging voting policy in Kentucky could impact bipartisan work for years to come.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We are just past 5:30 on July 8th. Now let's go ahead and send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. You can see the fog continuing to develop here as I've gone through this 5 o'clock hour. 64 outside our door here in Hazard. And visibility to leave Hazard down into Harlan, now at 1.5 bucks and a few hundred feet as you make your way back toward Wayne and Whitley counties. Temperature-wise, yeah, it's warm. Yeah, it's humid. 72 continues to be the warm spot at Jackson. One less of that at Monticello at 71. Irvin at 65, 63 as you make your way into Clintwood. All right, satellite radar composite. Got this band of clouds. That'll try to scoot across portions of the viewing area, limiting our opportunity for a beautiful sunrise. And as we go ahead and check out the forecast as we head through today, we'll end up seeing a nice amount of sunshine, but we do run the risk of seeing a shower or thunder shower popping up as we head toward Pikeville and Harlan with some continuity in the data to be able to make that call. And a forecast high in Hazard today up to 91. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast as we go through this half hour. Olivia?
All right, Tim, thank you. Gun violence continues to be a prevalent issue in the Commonwealth as the shooting in Boone County yesterday was the 7th mass shooting in Kentucky in 2024 and the nation's 277th mass shooting to happen this year. That's according to data from the Gun Violence Archive, which define a mass shooting as one where 4 or more people are shot, not including the shooter. And we are continuing to follow the mass shooting in Florence that left 4 people dead and 3 more in the hospital. Florence police have now identified the 4 who died as 20-year-old Shane Miller and Hayden Robicki, 19-year-old Delaney Erie, and 44-year-old Melissa Parrott. Connor Marksberry is one of the victims currently in the hospital. We spoke to his mother, Robin Gibbs, to learn more about his condition.
He's stable and he's alive and he's, he doesn't know anything. We're not allowing him to have any information right now. I believe we got the call about 4:30 from UC Medical Center that my son had been shot and he was here at the hospital. So, obviously shock and disbelief.
And we are still working to get more information regarding what led up to the shooting. One man is behind bars after a shooting in Laurel County. Officials say on Saturday, 21-year-old Joseph C. Brewer shot 21-year-old Jaden Jackson in an apparent road rage incident. Doyle Solfridge says it was a scary thing to witness in his front yard. He adds he thinks a bullet ended up striking his home.
Well, it's kind of scary in a way. I think we found a bullet hole over there in my house that about 20 or 30 feet away there that, when he shot, I guess it either went through the boy or that got shot and hit the siding on my house. We were pretty sure that that's where the bullet hole was.
Solfridge says stuff like this does not happen often in his community. This week, the 4th of July holiday marked a somber anniversary for people in Bardstown. Exactly 9 years ago, Crystal Rogers was reported missing. Rogers was last seen July 3rd, 2015 at her boyfriend Brooks Houck's home. 2 days later, on July 5th, her car was found. Inside were her purse, cell phone, and keys. The mother of 5 was nowhere to be found. For weeks, family, friends, and community members searched countless acres of Nelson, LaRue, Marion, and Washington counties for the 35-year-old on foot with four-wheelers, canines, horses, and boats. Nelson County investigators also searched a farm owned by Houck's family. Houck was named a suspect in the case a few months later. A man accused of killing a Kentucky sheriff's deputy is now charged with promoting contraband in jail. Jailers at the Bourbon County Regional Detention Center say they found 3 metal objects in Stephen Shang's cell. Deputies found the objects after following up on a tip that a hole was made in the bathroom to gain access to an outside facility. Investigators say the objects could have been used as weapons. Shang is charged with murder for Scott County Deputy Caleb Conley's death. Conley was shot and killed in May 2023. According to the 2023 Kentucky State Police Crime in Kentucky report, drug and narcotic offenses slightly increased more than 2%. With more than 53,000 offenses, drug and narcotic offenses were the second highest behind larceny and theft. Trooper Matt Gayhart says with Post 13 says they are working to get drugs off the streets every day.
Well, the unfortunate side of things is drugs is part of our everyday lives. It's something that law enforcement takes a great step in trying to prevent. Unfortunately, the reality is we'll probably never be able to rid it completely. If you have a drug problem, there is help out there. Reach out, get that help, because it will save your life.
Gayhart says community partners have also been helpful in their mission of combating the drug epidemic. A federal lawsuit argues Kentucky's voting policy violates federal protections for voters. It was filed by the group Kentuckians for the Commonwealth. This weekend, Secretary of State Michael Adams shared his thoughts on the suit. And as Samantha Valentino shows us, political experts say if the lawsuit is successful, it could impact how Democrats and Republicans work together here in the Commonwealth.
In his first term, Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams says he removed nearly 350,000 people from the voter rolls, including people who have passed or moved out of state.
What we're talking about here is a modest number of people who both moved to another state and then they told their Secretary of State in their new state, I'm voting here now.
A new federal lawsuit filed by Kentuckians for the Commonwealth argues House Bill 574, quote, flagrantly violates requirements under the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 by, quote, allowing voters to be removed without notice, response opportunity, and waiting period. Adams says if people move out of state, they are sent notices.
We want them to tell us. We want them to tell us, hey, is this right? Did you move out of state? And if so, do you want to deregister from the rolls or do you want to stay on the rolls? And if they don't tell us either way, we leave them on the rolls just to be safe.
Since the bill in question was passed in 2021, Adams says the timing of the lawsuit is an attempt to disrupt the upcoming election.
Adams has tried to find that balance where he's tough enough to satisfy the Republicans, but modern enough that he's not making it too hard to vote. To have a lawsuit threatened to undermine but only part of a bipartisan compromise that Adams worked out, naturally feels like a betrayal.
Political expert Dr. Stephen Voss says if this lawsuit is successful, it could impact how the two parties work together in Kentucky in the future. It's a concern Adams shares.
I'll never be able to get Republicans to trust Democrats and vote on something that both sides get something out of. Because if the Democrats vote for this stuff, they come around and sue and try to knock it out, there's no trust. You have to have trust.
In Frankfort, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Our sister station, WKYT, has reached out to Kentuckians for the Commonwealth for comment, but has not heard back. The lawsuit asked the court to issue a permanent injunction preventing the state from canceling the registration of voters without following the required procedures. A new scam is targeting people who use EBT cards and food stamps. Two Kentucky mothers say on July 1st, someone had withdrawn hundreds of dollars from their EBT funds just a couple of hours after their monthly deposits were made. Their situation isn't unique. The Cabinet for Health and Family Services says there have been more than 2,000 EBT theft claims from Kentuckians so far this year.
So I go check the app, And lo and behold, around 4 a.m. in the morning, it said Wells Fargo Bank took $650 off. And that's how I knew my money was gone. I'm like, and this is like 7 in the morning. Who gets up at 4 in the morning to go, you know what I mean?
To keep your funds safe, experts say you should make sure your PIN number is not easy to guess. They also recommend frequently changing your PIN number. If your money is stolen, it's important to report it to the Department of Community-Based Services within 30 days. And when we return, Ringo Starr turned 84 Sunday and celebrated the event with his annual Peace and Love celebration.
There is no way Ringo could be 84, right? All right, got to talk about some heat. We got to talk about, yes, some fog issues, and we got to talk about now Hurricane Beryl. Details with your First Alert 7-day forecast as the WYMT Mountain Morning News continues.